Okay, what is up, everyone? This is Sarah G. It is GenZ-Gab. Let's get into it. As usual, I am getting into this way too late, but you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. And clearly, that life happens, and you know, not everything is perfect, and that's a lesson I've had to learn throughout multiple moments, and I think people are realizing this every week. I talk about the same exact shit that happens all the damn time, but it's true, and I keep pushing, keep moving forward, and it just happens, and life is unpredictable, and as you can see or hear or whatever, it is hard to be perfect all the time, and I'm trying to let go of the perfectionism. And yeah, also it is like 100 degrees here, so again, I have not been posting the vidcast at all lately, but if I wind up posting this one, just know, sorry that I look a little sweaty. Problem is, it's freaking hot out here, and I have the stuff going on, but I live in an old house, so things can go out at any moment, and I'm trying to make it completely fine, but it's not. And again, you can just go down the list of people who have it worse, which we don't want to do that whatsoever. Sorry, got a tickle in my throat, but we do not want to compare ourselves to others. That is not the goal. What I want to say is that my heart goes out to the people of Sudan, the dads of Sudan, the dads of Palestine, the dad of Congo. Anyone that is currently going through a Holocaust of some sort, a genocide of some sort. Obviously, people are going to look at me like this is the weirdest thing. No, it is time to acknowledge that we do not let those parents go free, because of what is going on right now. We are here. We are listening. Really hard time, and I'm holding all you dads with me. How great role models that I have. Why can I not talk? It's so frustrating because it's like suddenly my ADHD, like I mentioned last week at the end of the podcast, my ADHD and my OCD make me wonder if I have a tongue tie. And the problem is I have a really bad cheek tie, and now I'm looking into all that stuff because thank you, TikTok, for all of that. Just really thank you for all of that. Because on one hand, I'm grateful that it's starting to make me realize like what I need to do, because the whole mouth breather thing versus nose breathing. And again, for the past week and a half, I've been doing the suction, which I know people are going to be like, what the hell is that? It's basically putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth, because so many of those videos have been showing up on my For You page. Fun fact, I've actually been sleeping much better due to this. And yes, people, for anyone asking, no, I am not buzzed or drunk, but I did have coffee that did have whiskey because I was celebrating Father's Day with my family. I do not drink that often. For anyone who is sober living, just know I don't judge. I do not judge what you do with your life, because again, I'm 95% of the time very much the sober person. So yeah, that being said, I did try so basically what I did for my Father's Day was go out to eat dinner kind of / snack time, appetizers with my dad and my brothers and my mom at a local distillery. And the problem is that I really wanted the coffee frappuccino. It is, again, 99 degrees with like 100% humidity. Probably not, but again, I'm not a weather person. I never went to school for that. I did not want to become a meteorologist, just saying. I did go into journalism, and I know that there's like, again, Sarah, you're getting off topic. I completely understand. But the point is, I really wanted this frappuccino, and I did not get it, which life, that happens. But I got kind of like an espresso martini, and my mom tried it, and she's like, I think they made it a little stronger than some of our other drinks, which maybe not, but the ice plus the coffee, maybe it's hitting me more because I don't drink a lot of caffeine after the time of 2 o'clock. Again, I'm a kind of boring stickler to try to manage my ADHD symptoms. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting, not at all perfect podcast, and that's okay. And the reason I'm specifying this in the beginning is because I know not everything's going to sound 100%, but I'm going to try to get through this in 20 to 30 minutes like I usually do, because I know not everybody has the time or energy to listen to this. Plus, I try to go in 2 times speed because, let's face it, nobody listens to podcasts that are 1.0. I also have to say, I know that I've always talked about my beef with Podco, Annalisa Vanderpool, which, again, I used to really believe in her, but now I realize that she's not really talking about her NDA, the situation, and before anyone goes, whatever, I had a drink and a half, so it's really not me, I would share this if I was completely sober. That's all I'm going to say. Yes, there's a trigger warning for people who don't want to listen to this, but this is always rated like TV-14, TVMA. So life happens. I do not sugarcoat things. This is the real me. This is the raw me, usually with or without the way that it all works. So yeah, that being said, yeah, I just, Jordy Cray, you should follow on TikTok because I swear to God, he has so many fun deep dives on pop culture. He calls out the people. I mentioned him last week, but he does the Lord's work when it comes to things, all right? It is not a bad or a good thing. It is a great thing, all right? So if you haven't had a chance to follow him, go, because he does deep dives on everything. Obviously, you can tell that with Inside Out and the emotions going on inside my head. And the reason that I'm playing ping pong is, again, ADHD more than anything. But I feel like with people like me and people like Jordan, our fear/impulsivity is always up. And Joy's always trying to take over, because if you've watched that movie enough, you know that Joy tries to take over constantly. And in the first movie, I haven't seen the second movie yet, but again, you see clips be posted, and you're trying not to get into it too much. But all I can say is that definitely what I've read on more, because people have been commenting all the things, fear and embarrassment seem to run a lot of people's lives, and I think that reposting and these C-list actors definitely have a lot of shame, a lot of envy, a lot of this. And, it's part of life, unfortunately. They did not reach what they did expect, but that being said, they're also faking a, signing an NDA or, saying that they're here for all of us, but then they have the culty mindset that we all need to be aware of. Because again, the fact of the matter is that none of the people that I endorsed in the past, which I think still bothers me clearly as I continuously talk about it, but none of the people are as good as they seem, and you have to realize that no one of these influencers, of these child stars, are who they say they are, and you just have to let it go, and it sucks. So yeah, am I excited for the Wizards of Waverly Place reboot? Not really sure anymore. And I know that these are all different ties, but I'm trying to avoid the big thing, the big monstrosity talk about thing, which is the JoJo Siwa, which I talked about last week, but still, JoJo Siwa, the fact that I'm agreeing with JoJo is astronomical. Also, the fact that she's trying to be in her Miley era, that's a little weird. I've seen a Miley Cyrus interview recently where it's discussing where she stands with her parents, etc. And here's the thing, I cut off both her parents, and I know that this is so insane that I do that, but it's every time you say that your dad's a narcissist, I look at your mom, and it's everybody loves Tish, and I'm like, I did a deep dive, and I believe Branson on the whole situation because he doesn't say much of anything. And it just shows, how messed up and fucked up all the whole family stuff is. Again, the whole Dominic Sherwood thing. Well, not Dominic Sherwood. What's his name? God. I know it's not Dominic Sherwood. That's a Vampire Diaries person, right? God, it's been so long since I watched that show. See, again, point is, Klaus is a good dad, if we're going to go into that stuff. Too bad he left behind his girl for the originals, but the guy who plays Elstar is not a great guy, so on and so forth. What am I getting into? The point is that, as far as TV characters, good dads go, that is pretty high up. I will say Jerry Russo. I will say, Dirk Baxter. Mr. Mosby's an honorable mention because I swear if we don't, as well as, Spencer Shea. Like, the fact of the matter is that I know that show got canceled, but can we get a spinoff of Potter already? Spinoff of, like, Spencer and his little Spencettes, Budinskis, whatever he calls them. It's really strange, but yes, his beloved is... I would love for Steve Howey, I think I talked about this with Reba, but Steve Howey to appear as like the cousin or something, because when I rewatch Reba, he has so many of the same mannerisms as Sherry Trainer, and I just would love to see that energy potentially become, a sibling cousin dynamic. It doesn't mean that it'll happen, but I think about that. I think about the people who stepped in positions during TV shows as well, aside from, yes, ironically, even plays Robbie Ray's store, Billy Ray Cyrus. His character was a single dad that was amazing. So again, all these characters, whatever you maybe have it, I mean, Walter Nichols from Drake and Josh, there's just a long list, but I mean, Hal Wilkerson, I mean, it's so much that you can't even begin to say. And even like people who come and go, like deadbeats, whatever, like Fraser Crane, like Ross Geller, etc. They're still decent dads. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention Julius from Everybody Hates Chris is in the top 10 dads of my TV show childhood. So yeah, Terry Crews is the man, and he plays a phenomenal on Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well. So yeah, there was just some random little like off-topic things, but you know what I've realized? I've had over 4,000, downloads here doing what I'm doing, and as much as I can be down on myself, at least it's been like I'm a micro creator. I make what I make, and it just happens. I try to be honest. I try to be unapologetic. I try to just show you the real me. No matter how messy, no matter how crazy, no matter how disorganized things get. And, as time keeps going on, I hope I keep conveying that, because I want to always stay true to myself. And I always have that imposter syndrome. And no matter what topic I talk about, I just want to make sure I'm there, because it's like when you watch some of these washed up has-been people of their characters, again, the Pretty Little Podcast is a different name. I don't know actually the real name of it, but that's a different one. That one's the good one versus the one that's the rewatch between a person who played Jenna and Paige. So, yes, but the point is that it's not even a main character that's going after it, and I think that we have to remind ourselves. The funny thing is, so many people say Lindsay's way more likable as a, on the Pretty Little Liar podcast, and yes and no, but it's still like a trying to prove who you got with, etc. And yes, maybe I'll get a cease and desist letter, but I don't really care at this point. I've said this multiple times, but I just feel like we should not be putting these people on pedestals anymore, and it just really grows tiresome no matter how much you think that you're doing the right thing by playing by the rules, and then these people just swoop in, swoop out, and do whatever the hell they want to do, because that's life, and you don't have money to prove it. And I've noticed this within different aspects of what I'm doing as well. Like, I'm trying to use MailChimp right now. I'm trying to follow all the little rules by how to do job prep stuff, and that still doesn't work completely. So say what you want to say, do what you want to do. Clearly, you don't get anywhere without cheating or scamming, because when you do things right, it just blows up in your face. But you'd rather do something right so you can have a clear conscience. And it's just this back and forth. But every time I'm on Reddit, it reminds me why I have to do things with integrity. Because besides the fact that I'm ADHD and belong in strong justices, things eventually catch up to you. And even if you have the money to pay it off, like the Kardashians, it still comes back to haunt you, that you wind up in the middle of a, I don't know, prayer moment where you're like, come to Jesus, save my ass right now for things that I said. We are not perfect as human beings, obviously, and the fact of the matter is, yes, the temperature is rising, the planet is dying. We still don't know what's going on with the whole French world, well, not world, French Olympics, where they're trying to take down a Tahitian island. I think I mentioned this last week. Again, I can't keep up. I take notes. I don't take notes. I am a chaotic mess. And I am in my 20s, like a lot of people. And yet we don't see that because social media is fake. And then we see these constant evolutions and people making themselves better. And then it's like I'm on the merry-go-round that doesn't end, and that I wind up getting off because I'm getting motion sick. So, yeah. Life has been very interesting, obviously, as you can tell, because I'm trying to speak as fast as I can, connect thoughts as usual, and I don't know how long people will listen to this. Again, I might be a Debbie, a downer on myself, but it's true. I don't expect people to listen to much more than 20 minutes. I specify that every week because, let's face it, most people listen to stuff in 2 times speed. And the fact of the matter is that it gets dull because I talk about the same old things. And unless you're already famous, you don't get that luxury to, fight through it all. And you're just eating up time at this point to try to figure out if you can make it. And yes and no, because that's just what life is. So, I'm getting on some of the pop culture this year because this has been insanity, and I know that people are going to look at me like, what the hell is this girl talking about? Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This girl shows up on my For You page this week, and I swear to God, I felt just as alone as I did in high school, and you're peaked in high school, and I can say I'm doing better than you because I clearly have worked on myself. I've gone to therapy. I'm constantly trying to better myself, and between an autoimmune condition and whatever you may have, I have been through things. Clearly, you peaked in high school, and clearly you don't realize that your struggles are a minuscule level compared to a lot of the rest of the world. The fact of the matter is, you are ugly on the outside and on the inside. This is worse than the Teachers Off Duty podcast that happened last year. And by the way, you're calling yourself a normie. Nothing about you is normal. Like, the fact of the matter is, you are not normal if you're willing to use that language, that specific language that I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, the N-word. That is not allowed on any level. That is despicable. We, the white people, do not claim you whatsoever. And before you say it's the liberal, no. It's the people who did not peak in high school, which is like 90% of us, don't claim you. So get your head out of the ground, okay? And go to a real college, a real university. Expand your horizons, listen to others, because we're not all going to be perfect, but if we stay open-minded and listen to others, that is the way that we learn. That is the way that we grow. That is the way that we get to the I want real peace that you Miss Americas are talking about. God, you are the type of people that I will never respect, understand, and yes, you're right. I might be a loser and whatever, but at least I'll never be like you. I'm at least willing to learn. I'm at least willing to understand other people's differences. I will never put someone down intentionally like the way that you do. And again, I am related to some people like you, and guess what? I've cut them off because I don't have time for that bullshit. So yeah, think about this. The next time that you want to say something, everyone's got receipts, and it'll be floating around on TikTok. Besides, the good people of Sudan and Palestine don't need you to be murking up their voices, murking up the For You page feed, because TikTok is also doing that with the algorithm. They are suppressing the voices of others. So again, complain to TikTok about that. Complain to TikTok about how the algorithm is working, because TikTok is not a friendly place anymore. they keep putting way more of these other things. And yes, that post got deleted on some level, but they let her be able to create an account no matter how many times people report them. I do not understand this. I do not freaking understand people. Don't understand our society. We are selfish pieces of shit. This is why the US is not taking seriously enough. So yeah, again, I will encourage people to vote for Biden, not because go with Biden or go home. No, because a lot of us will have to jump countries if Trump gets voted again. Not to mention the whole thing is, again, 34 counts, etc. This is just, we are becoming more and more of a laughingstock, and that's just not going to be able to happen. And I completely get people's point, like, why do we have to choose? Because those are our only options, and Biden, as awful as he is, as awful as he's treated this, I would still rather have him. I really would, unfortunately. But yes, I'm not thrilled. I've never been thrilled in the past 8-ish years that I've been allowed to vote. I've not been proud since 2016. And people can keep laughing about it, but it's true. I have not been proud. And again, you can see late night hosts talk about that. And it's this never ending cycle of where do I go next? Because again, I keep talking on and on about the former child actors who do deserve their voice to be heard, the people, etc. I don't have time to talk about Matt and Abby, mainly because so many other people have commented on it, but Abby, blink twice if you need help, but I know that that's probably not going to happen. And Matt, you are a gross ass human being. You know, do the damn dishes, do some laundry. Treat your woman with some respect, goddammit, because I swear to God, you are not even a 5 to the world, okay? So buy her some flowers, but also, Abby, know this. Some of the things that you say, you can learn and you can grow, and you deserve better than that, dude. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you act. There are good people out there. You know, I'm still looking for good people out there to just even be friends with. I know it seems like a never-ending dead end, but you know what? The pandemic hit, and that's life. And, you know, broadening your horizons is kind of hard to do. And I feel you there. So, yeah, just remember that you can get rid of your husband and get a dog instead, and the dog will be much more appreciative of you and treat you with much more respect. Because I swear to God that there are so many man child out there that expect the way that Matt expects, and that's just not good. So in lighter news, because again, I try to wrap this up on a more positive note. One thing I love is that my dog has been eating a lot more. For anyone who knows, I've talked about this multiple times, but she's got Addison's disease. And, you know, it's a win. Even when it's hot, she loves her cold or frozen food, her enrichment. And I just really, really enjoy, you know, not worrying about that aspect because I go a little crazy. My dad goes a little crazy. She's our fur baby. Our whole family kind of goes a little nuts because, you know, we want to make sure that because again, she dropped down. She's someone who's supposed to be like probably 43 to 50 pounds. She dropped down to 35 pounds at one point, and that's just not good. No bueno. Again, I'm practicing my Spanish a little more. Obviously, I have yet to do one in Spanish. Let me know at GenZ-Gab podcast on Instagram if you'd like to try or hear me do one. It's probably a little shaky at this point. I was very much fluent, and then, you know, it becomes harder. I try to keep it fresh with music, you know, TV accounts on social media, but at the end of the day, you catch yourself speaking it to yourself and you're like, does that even make sense? And even in English, I catch myself doing that. So, yeah, I did remember suggesting to someone this week that they should check out, I don't know the name, but if you're someone who's trying to get your kid in early childhood development, which is separately than the dog. But it's funny to watch my dog. Her ears always move whenever I am talking to her, which is really funny. But whenever she hears different languages or etc., she's always like staring off into space like she actually understands it, which again, not so much. But again, her whole journey is what makes me believe there's good in the world, because she bounces back so well, even if she has a little anxiety about going on walks these days. Hey, everybody has their thing. This is hers, but we are not here to judge. And yeah, so there's my little piece of advice. Be like my dog who keeps marching on. And I know that sounds really ridiculous, but it's true. Just be like Misty. Move like Misty. Because I guarantee, aside from a lot of other things, besides being a bearded collie, but other sheepdog types of the collies, if you're down, just watch a video of any of these breeds: the bearded collie, the border collie, the Australian shepherd, the collie, Shetland sheepdog, Old English, just watch a video of a herding dog. I swear to God, your mood will change immediately, because they're all joy in a fur coat. But I know that people are going to say, you're just biased. No, it's just a fact. Like, because they all descend from collies, I think that that's where their humor gets from, because they were mixed with other dogs. And I know this sounds really weird that I'm ending it on this, but literally my dog and pets in general and is what's really keeping me going these days, because between the SAG-AFTRA strike, the WGA strike, the IATSE strike, you name it, there is not a lot going on right now. And if I don't keep my, brain in some positive mindset, I'm going to go crazy. Although you just watch this, listen to this whole podcast, and it seems like, life is a little bit wonky for me right now, but that's how it is. Some people are gonna be farther behind, but it's okay as well. Some people won't make as much money as they thought they will, and that's all right too, because the situation of the world has changed. So this is something I'm gonna ask of my listeners to do this week, is just take a deep breath through the nose. Try to see how long you can rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth. I know that sounds weird, but that's really been helping me with my anxiety lately. And I'm looking into just seeing what other things I can do to lower my TMJ, which got significantly worse during the pandemic. And I know I talk about the same old things. But yes, between taking a deep breath through your nose and just practicing some of that mindfulness, I think you can have a more positive outlook. It says not dismissing your feelings. This is not making you feel bad whatsoever. You are allowed to feel those feelings. It's just a new way to think of a coping method and figure out, how to relax. Because TikTok, well, there's a lot of misinformation out there. This stuff is kind of the real deal, but I definitely would advise you, if they say comment below, to avoid commenting below or signing up for a subscription. You should really look into a healthcare provider. There is just some things that I've noticed when I've searched how to calm anxiety naturally that pop up. So again, you do you. Remember, you are just trying to survive. Keep marching on, and watch a video of a dog, because that'll make you instantly happy.